Ruben Saltzman with Structure Tech Home Inspections here. Today's topic is re-inspections. In my last video, I had briefly mentioned re-inspections, and I had somebody ask me, why do you even bother doing re-inspections? And are they really even necessary? I think that's a great question, and that's what I'm talking about today. So let's say you have a home inspection done. The home inspector comes up with a list of items, and you go back to a seller with a very small list of stuff and you say, hey, these are things we're not cool with. We would like you to fix them. How do you know that they're even going to be fixed properly if you're asking a seller to do it? Well, you could hire your home inspector to go back out and check on the stuff, but our goal is to not have to come out. What we wish for our clients is to not have to hire us again. And what it all comes down to is a very well-written purchase agreement amendment. If the purchase agreement amendment covers the 5 W's, who, what, why, when, where, and as a bonus, how, there's an H in there, you get all those covered and you're probably not going to need the home inspector to go back out to check all this stuff again. Let's just work through a quick example. We'll start with what. What's the issue? This should be clearly listed in the home inspection report. Why? Your home inspector, if they follow the ASHI standard of practice, they are required to say why an issue matters. Let's see, why, what, where. Where's the item? Well, if it's a laundry sink, we all know where it is. If it's a defective outlet, the home inspector better say which outlet it is. Who's going to be doing the repair? If you're writing up a purchase agreement amendment and you say anybody can do it, well, you can assume the seller's going to do it. If you're specific, though, you're going to say we want a licensed plumber to do it, or a licensed electrician, or fill in the trade. Whatever the trade is, you want somebody in that specific trade to do the repairs. When? Be specific about timing. This is an important one. You don't want to leave it to the last day right before closing, letting the sellers get stuff done whenever they want to. And finally, the how. And I guess that's part of the what. It's being very specific. I've got a great example of one where a home buyer, Structure Tech had done a home inspection on this house. We found a cracked boot at a plumbing vent. We said it had dried out, it had cracked, it could leak, have it replaced. And in the purchase agreement amendment, I gotta assume that they didn't use very specific language, because the home buyer shared with us the seller's response. The seller said they had applied a lubricant to fix the dried out plumbing vent. Now, I'm sure this sounded perfectly reasonable to the seller, but in reality, you can't fix that with a lubricant. The vent just needed to be replaced. Another good example would be a cracked heat exchanger. If you got a cracked heat exchanger on a furnace, that heat exchanger needs replacement. And typically that just means replacement of the furnace itself. You can't repair it. So you'd want to be very specific in a purchase agreement amendment. Say exactly what it is that you want to have done. And then if you're even a little bit more specific and you say that you want to get proof of this stuff, well, that's what's probably going to eliminate the need for a re-inspection by your original home inspector. And by getting proof, it's going to be receipts from licensed contractors and a permit obtained and approved by the city, and that permit in your hand. And this doesn't guarantee that the work is done right, but neither does the home inspector coming out. It just gives you a much better feeling that somebody did the work right, and if the city goes back out, that is the authority. You're having the authority, having jurisdiction, come out to make sure that the work was properly done. That's a great way of handling it, and not only does it make you feel better about it, but now it puts the responsibility of the re-inspection into the seller's lap. So I'm a huge fan of going that direction. If you do all of these things, you probably won't need to hire the original home inspector to go back out. But if you're not going to do all of those things and you still want to hire the original home inspector, well, let's just say it's us, here at Structure Tech, we're happy to do re-inspections. I know that there are some home inspectors who aren't comfortable doing these. They feel that there's additional liability in these. They say, well, I can't be responsible for all this work. My opinion is go for it, do it anyways. You're not taking on any more liability than you were doing the home inspection the first time. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Thanks for watching.